Workplaces can be dangerous, and sometimes these dangers lead to tragic, life-altering endings. In this video, we'll look at 5 more of the most disturbing workplace deaths of all time. Real stories of individuals who faced fatal accidents while simply doing their jobs, often in unexpected and heartbreaking ways. It was a humid morning in Camden, New Jersey on July 8, 2009. The smell of chocolate filled the air outside the Cocoa Services Inc. plant. Vincent Smith II, a 29-year-old temporary worker, had been on the job for 2 weeks. That day, his task was to feed chunks of raw chocolate into an 8-foot deep vat, where the chocolate would melt at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The chocolate would later be used in Hershey's products. Sadly, Vincent would not make it through his shift. Vincent worked from a 9-foot-high platform above the vat, loading chocolate into it. The platform was not built for safety. It had no guardrails and was covered with cardboard, which had become slippery due to scattered chocolate. Workers had no safety harnesses, making the situation even riskier. At around 10:30 a.m., Vincent slipped and fell into the vat. Witnesses saw him lose his footing on the unsteady surface. His co-workers tried to help immediately, but the design of the factory made rescue difficult. The emergency shutoff switch for the machinery was located far from the platform at the bottom of a staircase. Inside the vat, large mechanical blades mixed the chocolate. When Vincent fell, one of the blades hit him, causing fatal injuries. His co-workers tried to pull him out, and one ran to turn off the machine. However, the time it took to shut down the equipment and the heat of the chocolate made it impossible to save him. Vincent was trapped in the vat for nearly 10 minutes. By the time emergency responders arrived, he had already passed away. Firefighters removed his body from the vat while workers and responders stood in shock. The factory, once busy with activity, had turned silent. A visibly upset co-worker later told reporters that he tried as hard as possible to save Vincent. Outside the factory, Vincent's father and aunt waited for answers. His aunt questioned why he wasn't wearing a safety harness, saying it could have saved his life. The factory shut down for the day following the incident. Occupational Safety and Health Administration investigators inspected the site and found serious safety violations. These included the need for guardrails on the platform and the poorly placed emergency shutoff switch. The investigation revealed a workplace that overlooked basic safety measures in favor of production. Vincent's parents filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Cocoa Services, the management company Lyons & Sons, and others involved. The lawsuit listed 32 safety issues, including poor design, lack of proper training, and failure to enforce safety protocols. Further investigation revealed the factory was operating without a valid license and had not been properly inspected. Employees at the factory described unsafe working conditions. Platforms were unstable, machinery was left unguarded, and slippery surfaces were common. Vincent's death was not the first such incident. 2002, a similar accident occurred when a worker fell into a chocolate vat at a different plant. These cases pointed to widespread problems in workplace safety. Vincent's family demanded accountability. His aunt said they just wanted to ensure it would not happen again. Their lawsuit sought compensation and changes to improve safety standards and prevent future tragedies. Vincent's death is a reminder of the dangers workers face when safety is not prioritized. It highlights the need for stricter rules and better protections to ensure workers can do their jobs without risking their lives. It was May 19, 2021, in Liverpool, England. David Bottomley, 53, and his 17-year-old son Clayton worked on the Unity building, a 27-story structure in the city center. David, an experienced insulation fitter, had been subcontracted by AAI Selby for nearly 2 years. Following his father's footsteps, Clayton was 6 months into his apprenticeship. Known for their close bond, they were described by friends and family as inseparable. That afternoon, David and Clayton installed exterior cladding on a mast climbing platform on the 21st floor. The platform, designed to provide access to high areas, seemed secure. But at around 3:30 p.m., things took a tragic turn. Eyewitnesses reported signs of trouble before the incident. From a nearby building, Thomas Blanchfield noticed the platform behaving strangely. The right side dipped slightly, followed by a clicking noise, described as sounding like a roller coaster before a drop. David and Clayton appeared to brace themselves as the platform emitted 4 to 6 clicks before suddenly falling. Blanchfield likened the sound of the descent to a Catherine wheel or zip wire. Others described hearing the terrifying crash. Shawnee Tatton, who lived in the building, said the noise was unforgettable, something falling at high speed followed by an impact. At 3:30 p.m., the platform plummeted 14 stories, smashing into the roof of the 7th floor. The impact was felt across the area, with onlookers frozen in shock. Emergency services arrived quickly. They found the wreckage and the 2 men on the roof. David had suffered severe injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. Clayton, though critically injured, was alive but unresponsive. He was rushed to Aintree Hospital's intensive care unit, where doctors determined his injuries were beyond recovery. On May 23, 2021, after 4 days on life support, Clayton passed away, leaving his family and community heartbroken. Investigations soon began to uncover the cause of the collapse. Witnesses at the site pointed to a failure in the platform's braking system, which allowed it to fall uncontrollably. A detailed examination confirmed that pinion shafts in the gearboxes had worn out, causing the brakes to disconnect. Another failure in a secondary shaft compounded the issue, leaving the platform unable to support the load. The Health and Safety Executive, HSE, launched a formal investigation, calling on site managers, equipment suppliers, and specialists to provide testimony. Representatives from Adastra Access, the platform supplier, and Nordgear LLC, the gearbox manufacturer, were questioned. Findings revealed maintenance and inspection shortcomings, raising concerns about oversight and safety protocols. The tragedy deeply affected the Bottomleys' hometown of Castleford. Tributes poured in from friends, family, and co-workers. Castleford Academy, where Clayton had been a student, expressed their condolences, describing him as a talented athlete and an inspiration to his peers. Rick Brown of Lock Lane, ARLFC, where Clayton played rugby, called him a determined player who always gave his best. He said that Clayton's death had impacted the team, the club, and the community. David was remembered as a skilled and dedicated worker who shared a special bond with his son. Colleagues recalled their teamwork and how evident their connection was to everyone around them. The inquest into the incident raised critical questions about accountability. Could the accident have been prevented? Were there signs of equipment failure that went unnoticed? Most importantly, who was responsible? The construction site's operators, Lying O'Rourke, faced scrutiny for ensuring subcontractor safety. The tragedy highlights broader safety issues in the construction industry, where equipment failures remain a significant risk. It was June 20th, 2024, in Brembio, a quiet village in Italy's Lodi province. Life in this agricultural community followed a steady rhythm, and for 18-year-old Pierpaolo Bodo Bodini, the day began like any other. Young and full of life, Pierpaolo had worked at the Bassanetti farm for 10 months. Farming wasn't just his job, it was his passion. He loved working with machinery and took pride in his role. That morning, Pierpaolo arrived early for his shift. His task involved routine maintenance on a seed drill attached to a tractor, with a 20-year-old colleague assisting him. The seed drill was a large machine designed to plant seeds efficiently across fields. While Pierpaolo was on the ground cleaning the equipment, tragedy struck. Around 10 a.m., a mechanical pin gave way, causing one of the drill's heavy wings to collapse. It struck Pierpaolo on the head, killing him instantly. The accident happened so quickly that Pierpaolo had no chance to react. His colleague, witnessing the horrifying scene, fainted in shock. Emergency services, including medical teams, firefighters, and occupational safety technicians, arrived promptly, but they could do nothing to save him. News of Pierpaolo's death spread rapidly through Brembio, leaving the tight-knit community in shock. Pierpaolo was a cheerful and hard-working young man who loved his job. His social media was filled with posts showcasing his enthusiasm for farming and tractors, reflecting his dedication and passion. Upon hearing the news, Pierpaolo's family, who lived nearby, rushed to the scene. His mother, Monica, was heartbroken. Through tears, she spoke of his deep love for agriculture and said that Pierpaolo died doing what he loved. This bittersweet sentiment resonated with everyone who knew him. The village mayor, Oriana Guidotti, also visited the site and declared a day of mourning to honor Pierpaolo's memory. She remarked that losing someone so young, so full of potential, was devastating. The tragedy united the community in grief and prompted immediate action from local authorities. The Lodi Public Prosecutor's Office investigated whether the accident was caused by negligence or faulty equipment. The seed drill was seized for analysis, and safety experts examined the machinery for possible defects. Authorities also reviewed Pierpaolo's employment documents to confirm that proper protocols and safety measures were in place. This incident wasn't isolated. Union representatives pointed out that it was the second fatal workplace accident in Lodi in a single month. Alessandro Cerioli, a local labor leader, called for stricter safety measures, emphasizing that rapid economic growth shouldn't come at the expense of worker protection. Safety must be prioritized, especially in high-risk industries like agriculture. Pierpaolo's funeral occurred on June 22, 2024, in Borghetto Lodigiano, his mother's hometown. The church was filled with friends, family, and co-workers, all mourning the loss of a bright young man. Pierpaolo's mother, Father Leandro, Sister Giulia, Grandfather Sandro, and Aunt Carla shared heartfelt memories of his kindness, energy, and love for farming. His Aunt Gigliola described him as one of the lucky ones who found joy in his work. While the tragedy was deemed an unforeseeable accident, it raised questions about workplace safety in farming. Investigators examined whether the failed pin had shown signs of wear or if maintenance protocols were adequate. Pierpaolo's mother emphasized that no one was to blame, calling the accident an unavoidable misfortune. However, others in the community wondered if stricter safety checks could have prevented such a loss. His love for the land and dedication to his work left a lasting impression on his family, friends, and the entire village of Brembio. Pierpaolo's death is a sad reminder of workers' risks in demanding jobs like farming. Losing someone so young and passionate has sparked conversations about improving safety measures to protect workers in hazardous environments. It was a seemingly ordinary Monday morning, November 11, 2024, in Rokewood, a quiet rural town in Victoria, Australia. The Golden Plains Wind Farm project, which aimed to be the largest in the Southern Hemisphere, was bustling with activity. Among the workers was 36-year-old Jess Patience, a skilled installation technician known for his easygoing nature and eagerness to help others. That morning, Jess was preparing a massive wind turbine blade for installation. These blades, essential for the towering turbines, required careful handling to ensure safety. But around 8 a.m., tragedy struck. One of the heavy blades, weighing several tons, suddenly dislodged from its support. Chaos erupted as it fell, pinning Jess beneath its immense weight. Emergency services arrived quickly, but despite their efforts, Jess's injuries were too severe. He was pronounced dead at the scene. His passing marked the 38th workplace fatality in Victoria that year and left the entire worksite in shock. Photos from the aftermath showed the turbine blade lying on the ground, its size dwarfing the surrounding equipment. What had been a site of energy and ambition was now silent, overshadowed by heartbreak and the need for answers. Jess was more than just an employee at the project. He was a friend, mentor, and beloved community member. Friends and colleagues remembered him as a kind and patient man who was always ready to teach and share a laugh. Elliot Sawkins, a co-worker and close friend, shared a heartfelt tribute online, describing Jess as one of the most genuine people he had ever met. Elliot wrote that Jess had taken him under his wing and taught him so much. He mentioned that Jess was always eager to discuss his adventures in Canada or life in the ranges. His loss, Elliot said, was devastating. Jess's wife was left grieving the sudden loss, her life forever changed. The couple had plans and dreams for their future, which were abruptly shattered. The Golden Plains Wind Farm project was shut down indefinitely in response to the tragedy. Vestas, the company overseeing construction, announced an investigation into what had gone wrong. Danny Nielsen, Vestas's head of operations for Australia and New Zealand, extended the company's condolences and stressed their commitment to safety. Nielsen stated that safety was their top priority. He mentioned they were working with local authorities, including WorkSafe Victoria, to determine the tragedy's cause and ensure it never happened again. WorkSafe Victoria launched a thorough investigation with experts examining the site. Reports suggested the blade needed to be properly secured during preparation. Questions arose about whether safety protocols were followed and whether the accident could have been prevented. The Australian Workers' Union also intervened, expressing long-standing concerns about safety conditions at the site. Ronnie Hayden, the AWU's Victoria State Secretary, revealed that union delegates had previously warned Vestas about inadequate supervision and the risks of using contractors for high-risk tasks. Hayden stated that the tragedy could have been avoided. He noted that just weeks ago, they had raised alarms about unsafe practices. He emphasized that this wasn't just another statistic, it was a life lost needlessly. In the aftermath of Jess's death, support poured in from across the community. A GoFundMe campaign was launched to assist his wife and cover funeral costs. The initial goal of 15,000 Australian dollars was quickly surpassed, with donations exceeding 112,000 within days. One anonymous donor contributed 25,000 Australian dollars, showcasing the community's compassion. The campaign organizer wrote that they were heartbroken by the loss. They added that every contribution, big or small, was helping Jess's family during this incredibly difficult time. Friends, family, and co-workers continued to share tributes, honoring Jess for his professional skills and warm and caring personality. Though his life was tragically cut short, the outpouring of love and support reflected the profound impact he had on those around him. It was August 6, 2024, in Prentiss, Mississippi, a small town about 60 miles southeast of Jackson. The aftermath of Tropical Storm Debbie hung heavy over the region. The storm had ravaged Florida's Big Bend coast, leaving widespread power outages across several states. Among the many utility workers restoring power was 20-year-old Jayton Allen Stallhut, a dedicated young man with a heart full of compassion. Jayton worked as a contracted utility worker for EXO, an energy company. His job involved inspecting and repairing damaged power poles. Essential work, but not without risk, especially after a storm. He and his crew were assigned to Ray Street in Prentiss on this particular day. While inspecting a power pole, what should have been a routine task turned into a devastating tragedy. Around midday, Jayton climbed the pole for inspection. According to the Prentiss Police Department, he accidentally came into contact with a live wire. The electrical current was overwhelming and immediate. Witnesses described the moment as shocking, followed by urgent action from a co-worker who quickly called 911 and performed CPR. Emergency responders arrived promptly and transported Jayton to a nearby hospital. Despite extensive efforts, he passed away due to his injuries. Jefferson County Coroner Deidre M. Johnson confirmed the cause of death as electrocution, classifying it as an accident. To those who knew him, Jayton was much more than his job. Born on September 2, 2003 in Hendersonville, Tennessee, he was the son of Kevin and Tara Stallhut. Jayton's childhood was filled with a love for the outdoors and a natural, adventurous spirit. In 2018, his family moved to Chakotah, Oklahoma, where he graduated high school in 2022. Jayton's achievements were impressive. He was an Eagle Scout with 7 palms, extra merit badges beyond the Eagle rank, showcasing his dedication and perseverance. He loved fishing, hunting, and video games. Friends and family remembered his infectious smile and ability to brighten any room. On June 10, 2023, Jayton married Erin Clark, the love of his life. Their Brush Hill Baptist Church wedding was filled with happiness and surrounded by loved ones. In their short time together, Jayton and Erin shared dreams and built a love-filled life. Jayton's obituary painted a picture of a life lived with purpose and kindness. He was described as someone who loved Chinese food, especially sushi and deviled eggs. He cherished animals and enjoyed spending time with his family. He was known for accepting people as they were and always focusing on the positive side of life. His passing left a deep impact on the Prentiss community and beyond. Friends, family, and colleagues shared their grief and memories of him. One friend described him as someone who could make anyone smile, noting that Jayton accepted everyone for who they were, even if he barely knew them. Another friend shared how he loved adventure and brought joy to those around him. Jayton's funeral was filled with loved ones gathering to honor his memory. A GoFundMe campaign was launched to assist Aaron and his parents with funeral costs and provide support during this difficult time. The storm that preceded this tragedy, Tropical Storm Debbie, caused widespread destruction, flooding streets and leaving countless homes without power. In the rush to address these issues, Jayton's life was cut short. Jayton's tragic death highlights the risks utility workers face, especially during storm recovery. Power poles, live wires, and unstable equipment create hazardous conditions, yet these workers push through to restore normalcy to needy communities. At just 20 years old, Jayton had a promising future, a life filled with love, dreams, and possibilities. His loss is a heartbreaking reminder of how fragile life can be, leaving a void that can never be filled.